Hello, my beautiful people, my party people, my angels, my guides, my mysterious travelers. It is me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast for the monthly tarotscopes for February. So I pulled 2 cards for us this week. One from a tarot deck called Tarot of the Divine, beautiful deck that focuses on folklore and fairy tales across time. I love this deck. And the Wild and Sacred Feminine deck. They just really spoke to me. They really spoke to each other this month, and we are working in an energy of High Priestess, so we really are like trusting our intuition, trusting our gut. And I love that I pulled these cards, and after I pull a card for every sign, I will flip the decks and look at what's underneath. You can call that the underlying. Some people believe in that, some people don't. But I like it. I like the feeling of like, what's the little whisper from the deck? What's the deck saying? And don't forget this, like don't forget this. And the things that came up were so beautiful, so in alignment with our February energy. You all know the High Priestess is the tarot card associated with February energy across the board. The underlying in the Divine Tarot, the Tarot of the Divine, was Priestess or intuition, just lockstep with the High Priestess. And the 6 of Coins or the 6 of Pentacles, which is all about balance. The weekly tarot pulls, the way that January ended and February began, it was all about balance. So the 6 of Pentacles is speaking to us about how we measure our life, how we measure our give and take, how we measure our input output, how we measure generosity, which is a whole other question, because is it generosity if you're measuring it, yada yada. But I love this idea of feeling the push pull, allowing the High Priestess to guide us this month in terms of allowing her to guide us in terms of appreciating our receptivity, appreciating the breadth of this moment, not just the heights that we're reaching. Does that make sense? I just have this sense that in February, the universe, God, love, whatever you want to call it, is asking us to put a little bit more attention to our own fulfillment, our own nourishment. Something about the way the scales are balancing, something about the way the 6 of Pentacles is showing up is kind of saying to us, like, don't forget yourself. Like, one for you, one for me, one for you, one for me. Don't shortchange yourself. Think about what you need, notice what you need, feel into what you need, intuit what you need, and trust that. Trust the kind of the ever flow of energy, and that we really do live in this abundant, limitless universe. And any way that you've been taught or come to believe that that what you take takes away, I want you to really rethink that this month. Like, what you feed back into your own system with love and intention and clarity just generates more of your energy, which is always going to be a gift to the world. We really want to think about our service being something that comes from a place of overflow. It is so easy to get depleted in this world, in this life. We run at such a high caliber and we expect so much of ourselves in every dimension. Like, there's no room for failure. There's no room for rest. And the High Priestess is really trying to get you to remember in this 8th year that your body is a finite creature. It is a vulnerable, needy creature, and it needs things. It needs attention. It needs love. It needs time. It needs space. It needs rest. And I just want to kind of call you back to that. And I say all this as I'm sick because I did the opposite of what I'm telling us all to do right now. And so it's a lesson for me that's showing up hardcore in my life right now. I hope you don't get to this point. I hope you can kind of say, let me just take a moment, feel into what I need, and offer it to myself as an act of service to the world, not just as like taking something, but feeding this beautiful being that I am, knowing that my contentment, my settledness, my right pacing is a good thing for the whole world. Okay, enough yammering on from me. Let's talk about your tarotscopes. Let's start with Aquarius, 3 of Cups and awareness. Okay, 3 of Cups is beautiful energy, right? It's the energy of celebration, harvest, coming together. It always reminds me of my cousins, like the feeling of being in space with them, being with my family, that celebratory energy of I love us and I love this and I only want more of this. So whatever your place, your crew, your crowd of people who celebrate you and who you celebrate in return, that energy is with you. But I love the owl, the awareness, the wisdom, the perspective showing up next to this 3 of Cups, because what that says to me is I want you to become aware of who you celebrate with. And I have to say it, 3 of Cups and 9 of Cups, when they come up, there can be a little bit of a sense of overindulgence. And I want you just to notice that. Like, just notice, again, if we're thinking about February is this kind of balancing energy, which 2s are always going to be about balancing. But if we want to notice the kind of the ebb and the flow of our energy in February, something about the way these two cards are coming in together is like, yeah, this feels good, this is great. But the owl pulls up your perspective and looks down on it and is like, is this good long term? Is this good from a soul standpoint? Is this good just in the moment, or is this good in some kind of deeper way, some kind of broader way? Something about this energy is asking you to take stock of who you celebrate with, who is in your immediate circle, who you're allowing to, I don't know, there's something about authenticity in relationships here, authenticity in connection. And as much as it might feel good, there's different levels to that. There's different layers to that. And the owl just wants you to bring a shot of wisdom, a shot of perspective to your group dynamics, to your community, to your relationships. Just kind of feeling into, this feels good now. Does this feel good now? Also that energy of people that you used to really feel connected to, and then you share space with them, and the connection is something nostalgic versus something that's actually happening in this moment. I don't know, there's a lot here about layers of awareness, layers of perception around your social dynamics, around your relationships. And, aho and amen, if you can look at that and say, no, I really surround myself with nourishing people, with people who really celebrate me and who I celebrate, and it feels like a current thing. It feels like a live and healthy thing. The owl is just like, notice that. Bring your intuition, bring your third eye, bring your wider perspective to your group dynamics, and just feel into what's getting fed in that, and whether it still satisfies you or whether there's something else that wants to be fed. Aquarius is going to speak to us about our community, especially over this long transit we have now with Pluto. And so something about this feels like this kind of a preview or a glimpse behind the curtain of just check out your community, feel into what's going on with them. That's interesting. Let me know how that resonates with you, Aquarius, because there's something really interesting there, and I'd love to hear how it lands out there in the world. Pisces, Two of Cups and weaving. Beautiful. There's something I just love when cards come together. But the Two of Cups is about giving and sharing love, giving and receiving love. The Two of Cups is always the card of pregnancy, so pay attention, Pisces, if that's something you are looking for. Awesome. If it's something you're not looking for, awesome. Just like notice that your fertility, the ability to create something new with someone, is very alive, very vibrant. And especially with this weaving card coming in, there's you'll see it on Instagram when I post these cards, but there's this kind of arch. This person's wearing like a banner across their chest, and in the weaving card that is mimicked with the rainbow that is creating dream and fantasy and a new world, like dreaming a new world into being. There's something about these two energies coming together that is there's like a direct line between what you are imagining and hoping for and what gets created. There's a very strong current of energy that's pushing through this. Very beautiful. Two of Cups, the Ace of Cups is about expanding our heart space. The Two of Cups is about bringing that fullness to another and receiving their fullness in return. It's about the ability of two magical beings with the ability to create something new. That could be a child, that could be love, that could be a venture, a project, anything. It could be anything at all, but it builds something new. It takes these two energies and literally like that three energy, that energy of the sperm and the egg, it creates a new entity. That coming in with this weaving, there's just this very powerful creative bolt or like juice running through the system right now. And I think it has to do with either the ability to create something new with someone, if you have someone you feel that connection with, or the ability to see what's possible in connection in a new way. It's very generative and it's very inspiring. I guess that's what I would say. Your heart really expands into this idea of, what do I want love to look like in my life? What do I want partnership to look like in my life? What is the world I'm dreaming into being in terms of connection? We can do so much alone, but the truth of the matter is, even in self-development, even in like your personal spiritual process, the real work will come in relationships. The real tensions, like maybe not always, but you do get to these plateaus where you've done as much work as you can do on your own. You feel at peace, you feel good, you feel at ease. And then you take that out into the world, you take that to relationship, and it's very confronting. There's something about this energy that feels less confronting and more kind of like I see a star exploding. Like I see this like kind of, a fuse that gets lit and then boom, there's something very beautiful about the force generated from whatever's happening for you this month. I mean, you know, like when they say you see fireworks, that's kind of what I feel in this. Like you just see someone across the room and then boom, 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 like fireworks erupt. And maybe that's already happening in your life, or maybe that's someone you meet for the first time. This is very beautiful though, and very, really beautiful. That's all I'll say about it. There's just something about this that's, wow, man, like I couldn't have done this on my own. And here you are, and now here we can do this together. And it's special. There's a lot of recognition and a lot of gratitude for that. And that's beautiful, Pisces. I love that. I love the way these cards are coming together. Okay, Aries, my friend. Also, there's a lot of major arcana, so there's a lot of shifts happening that are important for everyone this month. And don't underestimate, like I said in the monthly energy forecast, don't discount the power of the High Priestess. Just because it's quiet doesn't mean it's not profound. Okay, Aries, you have the moon and Lakshmi, or abundant. I think you're going to find a lot of richness in your quiet this month. The High Priestess and the moon together are very reflective energies, very quiet, very private types of investigations. And abundance, Lakshmi is bringing so much beauty, and that idea of color very much here. So dream work, dude. Aries, dream work in this time would be amazing. Your ability to visualize, your ability to create, your ability to kind of dream is very activated right now. And there's something about it feels like what I'm picturing is your awareness turning inward and like this lock system unlocking. So, you know, like literally it looks like something out of I love the way this stuff comes through. Something out of like a spy movie where they will unlock one thing and then, or even like an Indiana Jones kind of thing. Like you unlock one thing and then all these things fall into place and the doors open. That's what I'm feeling for you, Aries. So there's this really interesting idea of connecting to your own soul on a deeper level, connecting to your own light, your own color. And there's something about you taking the time, which is not a very Aries thing to do, right? You're moving forward. And the energy is saying, you know, stop, turn back in, bring that beautiful strength and fire and fierceness and desire and drive internally, like turn it inward. Shining that light inward, it unlocks this whole system of things that parts of you maybe never been able to access or haven't been able to access for a long time. And there's this great release happening in the center column that's allowing you to access this pool of color and light and beauty that you're hungry for. Do this. Oh my God, Aries, this is so cool. This is really interesting. And so again, the access is going to be found in the nonlinear. The access is going to be found in kind of the darkness. So dream work, journaling, record and listening, shamanic work, you know, anything that you can do that kind of takes you out of the linear time frame into a more internal space is going to be very blessed, very potent this month. I love that, Aries. Cool. Taurus, you have temperance and the muse, or inspiration. Temperance is patience, my love. Patience and right timing. Something about the ability of waiting for the rhythms to be right, waiting for the gates to open. There's something about biding your time, just being content with what is, not needing to move forward as you wait for the seasonality, the cycles, the rhythms to align. And the muse, the inspiration, is kind of a doubling down on what we've said about this February energy. Just stay here and make it beautiful. Like just stay here and make art. Just stay here and be inspired. Just stay here and expand more fully into this current moment. Everything's going to work itself out. Like everything is going to, so it's interesting. It's different than what I just saw for Aries, where it was like this thing gets unlocked and all the chambers realign themselves to open. This feels like these circles, these spirals of light and color are kind of moving through space, moving through the universe, and they find themselves and they kind of lock into alignment, and this portal opens, and that's when you move. That hasn't happened yet. It might be happening in February. It might be happening in a kind of a larger timeline scale. But there's something about how content, how at ease, how beautiful can you find this current moment, and trusting the universe to kind of set the portal for you. You really don't need to move, Taurus, until you're sure it's time to move. Both of these figures are just staying still and making beauty, making art, making music from stillness. Yeah, I just want to say that as clearly as possible. You don't need to move this month. you need to expand and find contentment as deeply as possible in this current moment, the door will open, the portal will open. And when it does, you'll be so clear on the fact that it's time to move. A lot of stillness here, a lot of like just that idea of how can I make this moment more beautiful, more sacred, more sexy. So much permission to stay still this month, Taurus. Gemini, the Lovers and Wolf, Mastery. I mean, these cards, dude, I will put them up. I will make an effort to do that right away. The Lovers card in this deck, she's holding the dragon, and the Wolf card is a woman with a wolf mask on. If we're not clear about what we're here to do in this 8-year Gemini, is we're here to make peace with our wildness, make peace with the wolf inside of us, at the same time honoring the maiden inside of us. The Lovers card is always a choice, and there's something about the confidence with which you know what to do next that wants to be highlighted. So if there's a choice, if there's a decision, if there's something that you need to move on, really trusting yourself, taking the time to get to a place of confidence. And it feels like you've already done that. It feels like it might sneak up on you when you're faced with this crossroad, how confidently you move forward, how confidently you know what to do next. There's a great peace here between your fierce wildness and your softness, like your soft, wise, patient vulnerability. Yin yang, this active, passive energy, feels very integrated. And for you, Gemini, that's no small feat. So it feels very integrated. And there's a sense of holding both parts of you, holding all parts of you with so much peace. And that's what I keep seeing is like you find yourself at this crossroad, you have to decide. And maybe it's a place you found yourself before and you felt insecure, unsure. And now you're here at the same crossroads again. You're like, I know exactly what to do. A lot of confidence here. Dude, you don't look like you're someone to be messed with. And it's like no one would even bother because this is yours. There's something about the lone wolf. Like this is your choice to make. This is your path to walk. Cancer, Queen of Cups and healing. God, these cards are they're just really speaking to each other. I'm so grateful to be seeing this and walking this with you because I'm taking in so much learning while I'm doing this with you guys. Cancer, Queen of Cups and healing. This is really, there's such softness here and such love here. Queen of Cups is always about serving ourselves, really honoring our emotional body, honoring our intuitive body, and finding a real peace and a real satisfaction there. Cancer, you're such a watery sign. You have so much depth to you. The Queen of Cups really speaks to that. She really echoes that. This is like you in yourself, you in your power, which makes sense from a High Priestess month for you should be very satisfying. And then the healing is interesting. You'll see the card. It looks like a mother and a child holding hands, and the healing that takes place just in that simple contact. This is very quiet energy, Cancer, and it kind of calls to what I was saying about the time to integrate, what I was saying to you in the larger monthly energy. Just allow whatever seeds are seeds of healing, seeds of love, seeds of knowing, seeds of intuition that are in your system right now. Allow them to just open and spread through your being with healing, with light, with love. It's very gentle, but very in process. Like this is happening right now. And, it says to me if there are relationships or places where you're aching to ask for help in that healing, there's a lot of love for you, both energetically or angelically, but also here in the physical. So I always think of my one daughter who has Cancer moon. She always will say to me, can I have a hug? Can I have a hug? And I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, I need to offer her more hugs versus just responding to her request for hugs. And it's totally random thought of mine this morning. But when I saw this, that's what I thought of. Be aware of who is willing to kind of offer you that love and that healing, whose arms are just so waiting for you and so ripe and ready for you. It's really beautiful, Cancer. Very gentle. Be easy on yourself. Go easy on yourself. Let what's happening, let what's developing, what's changing this month really soak into your system. Okay, Leo, my friend, 8 of Swords and receptivity. 8 of Swords is overthinking. It's getting in your own way. It's thinking that you have to think your way out of something, that you have to come up with a solution. And the receptivity obviously is the opposite of that. So there's something about this energy this month that might be a little hard for you, Leo, that might be a little challenging. It might confront your fiery, active nature. you might not be able to push your way through this. You might need to sit and wait for the answer to be revealed to you. Gosh, that sounds easy, doesn't it? It's not going to feel easy. It's going to feel like you might really criticize yourself through that. There might be a lot of negative self-talk about like, what's wrong with me? Why can't I fix this? Why can't I solve this? Why can't I get over this? Why can't I get through this? Don't do that to yourself. How more simply can I say that? There's a way in which your mind, your thoughts, the messages might be self-harming this month and might be just making it harder. This is really, if there's something meditation, there's some walking, there's some way that silence works for you, please lean into that. The quieting the messages in your brain, in your mind this month will be such a help to you. You will find your footing. You are moving. You are more than your mind, if you're not already realizing that, right? You're more than your mind, and your instincts to move forward will serve you. But there's something about the receptivity that's asking you to listen. Call on your angels, call on your guides, call on your ancestors, call on the earth, whatever speaks to you, and say, I need help. Like, what would you have me do? Where would you have me move today? Where should I focus? And recording and listening, which is a technique by Cheryl Huber that I talk about all the time, might really serve you. There might be a way in which there's some loud quality to a criticizing voice in your head that's drowning out the quieter wisdom in your heart. There's something about that negotiation, that journey this month that's active for you. You will have all the answers in quietness. You will have all the answers in receptivity. You just have to trust that, and you have to quiet the noise to get to that place. You have a lot of support in doing that in this High Priestess month. So I wish you a lot of luck with that, Leo. Virgo, 10 of Wands and Turtle grounding. Okay, you should go back and listen to the King of Wands recording I just did for this last week. The 10 of Wands is truly the card of like, it's not what you carry, it's how you carry it. And Turtle is grounding, just what it says. It's like, feel your feet on the ground. There's some way, Virgo, in which like you're carried away. You're being carried away by your responsibilities, carried away by energy. And it feels like your energy, but it also feels like other people's energies. Can you find yourself? Can you feel yourself in this moment? Or are you really taken with what everyone else needs? It has the energy of less about home and more about work. Everybody yelling and shouting and needing something, and you're just so working so hard to get them to peace and rest and quiet so that you can find peace and rest and quiet. And this energy is asking you to kind of flip that on its head, like first find that for yourself and then tend to what other people need. It's very loud in this energy. I'm saying this and I'm saying to you, ground in this, and I also can feel how difficult that's going to feel for you. That might feel for you this month. What I can offer you is permission to take a breath, permission to stand still, permission to find your feet before you attend to what everyone else needs. And I can feel how difficult that is, and I can also feel how important it is, how critical it is that you give yourself that permission this month. It might be simply that, like giving yourself permission might be the turn in the wheel that you need to really shift how you're feeling about life. You can't help others if you can't breathe yourself. I don't know how else to say it. It's a very simple message, but it's a very important one. Find your feet, attend to your needs, and then you can hear what everyone else has to say. But there's something about everyone's voices that's quite loud around you. And you have permission to do whatever you need to do to find the quiet, to hear your own voice. Libra, death and ocean. Okay, rebirth central. Libra, death is exactly what it says. It's a shedding, a reforming, a threshold that you are crossing. And ocean is source. You'll see these two cards when they're together. There's something about being born again, being baptized, being submerged, and then calling yourself out of the waters. Something about being held in repose. This deathing that you're going through, this process that you're going through, there's a way in which it is very water-based. It's very oceanic. And if you can get yourself to water, please do so. Please submerge yourself in a bath or in water, in a river, ocean. Hot springs would be amazing. But there's something about these two things that are asking you to let it all go. Just let it all go. Trust that what needs to get pulled away is getting pulled away for a reason. And there's limitless energy rushing in to take its place. Yeah, similar to the way that Cancer felt very quiet. This feels very quiet and very profound and way beyond explaining. So take my advice from February of not feeling like you have to narrate this for anyone or explain to anyone. You just have to let go. That's all it is. It's like an open your hands energy. It's a let the tides carry you energy. And I don't know, I could imagine that could feel frightening, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels like a relief. That's what it feels like. So whatever you've been holding on to, maybe you've been holding on to it for too long. And there's something about this month that lets it get carried away, that you kind of are like, well, I'm sad it's gone, but also thank God it's gone. That makes sense. Sending you a lot of love through that. Scorpio, 5 of Wands and Whale memory. Interesting energy, Scorpio. Quite different than what we've just been talking about. 5 of Wands is competition, challenge, struggle, and Whale is like depth and memory. The 5 of Wands, when it comes up, there's always a reminder to keep your sense of humor and not take it too seriously. The Whale brings a slightly different energy. Like the Whale comes in to be like, remember why you fight? Remember why you're here? Remember why you chose to come here and do this weird play, this weird dance, sing this unique song? There's something about this that is even though it's deep water energy, it's a reignition of your fire. Not taking it too seriously could be a way of kind of stepping back or not being involved. This is like, don't take it too seriously, but it's what you came here to do, so fucking enjoy it, fucking live it. There's something like that about it. There's something, it's this re-immersion in the world, re-immersion in competition, re-immersion in ambition, re-immersion in the fight. That feels really good. It's like, oh yeah, I came here to play, man. I forgot I came here to play. I've never, ever seen the 5 of Wands just like this, and I love what the Whale's bringing to it. The Whale's kind of saying, remember why you've come, and you've come even for the silliness. You've come here for this earthly adventure. You've come here to get on the field and give it your all for the game that you've come to play. I like this, Scorpio. So different. It's like bringing a lot of fire energy to the Scorpio depth. Like I keep picturing this kind of like Cheshire grin of like, oh, right, this is why I'm here. And even though it might feel very earthly, very almost like beneath you, Scorpio, there's something about it that's like, it's not beneath you, dude. It's part of the reason you came. Like, take all your power and bring it to the field. Don't waste it. Don't waste this time. Okay, Scorpio, I love that. And I need that message for myself. And it's interesting for me to feel how that lands in my body. Definitely an energy of don't take it too seriously, but also give it your fucking best. Like get out there and fight. Get out there and fight. Cool, Scorpio. Sagittarius, strength card and threshold initiation. Okay, Sagittarius, you're being asked to stay with yourself. The 8 energy is the energy of this year, and the strength card is that number, the card that we're working with all year. And the threshold intention, I read it as initiation, but it's threshold intention, is to stay with yourself. Like, don't doubt yourself, Sagittarius. Life might feel very confronting right now, and you're being asked to stay with yourself, to not give up, to not give in, to not doubt. You're standing on this threshold and you're in a very strong testing place. You're in a very strong place of challenge and confrontation. And I mean that like other people confrontation, but I also mean a confrontation of self. Like there's something about this that's asking you to look in the mirror and recommit to yourself, recommit to what you know to be true, what you know to be important, what you value. It's interesting because it's like different than what I just talked about Scorpio. A very different energy, but it's not dissimilar in that you came here for a reason and you're being tested right now. You're being almost like tempted to abandon that. And the strength card and the threshold card are like, stay here just a little bit longer. Ground down, trust yourself, commit to what you're here to do just a little bit longer. Everything's about to change. That feels really powerful. Like the threshold you're about to cross is a pretty profound new world, a pretty profound new experience. And there's something about your willingness to stay with yourself that means everything right now, Sagittarius. It literally feels like that last mile of the marathon where you're like, maybe I can't do it. I've never run a marathon, but this is what I imagine. Like I can't do it. Like it's too hard. I've come far enough. I've done enough. And there's something about, no, stay with it. This last mile, stay with it. It will all be worth it. Stay with yourself. And lastly, Capricorn, 4 of Swords, White Buffalo, Calf Woman. 4 of Swords is a call to withdraw. It's a call to make clear in your mind what matters. And White Buffalo, Calf Woman plus integrity is a pretty serious invitation to the vision quest, a fairly serious invitation to withdrawal. Wherever you are, creating space for yourself to meditate, creating space for yourself to receive messages. Again, this doesn't feel like something you're figuring out. It feels like something that's dropping into the space you allow in your life. I always think of the 4 of Swords as creating the inner temple, creating the inner sanctuary. And part of what you need to do with your mental energy is create spaciousness. You know, like the monkey mind idea, like your brain could always go. And if you ask it to, it will always fill in the blanks. It will always create new meaning. It will always create new connections. Like it will never stop. The 4 of Swords is an invitation to create the spaciousness you need for other messages to drop in. And the White Buffalo Calf Woman is like a very serious call from your soul, your spirit, from your truth that is trying to enter the temple. But you need to create the temple for that to happen. Meditation, quiet, peacefulness, even if it's just a minute at a time of like stopping whatever you're doing and breathing, stopping whatever you're doing and feeling your feet on the ground. These like small micro movements that create the space. Again, quantum field, like you don't just sit in meditation for 7 hours, although you can if you want to, but allowing these little micro movements in the day, these micro spaciousness, these micro meditations can sometimes be all we need to allow the message, the information, the truth to drop in. All right, you guys, it does not feel nothing's happening this month. It feels like a lot is shifting and some very beautiful transformations, some very beautiful openings happening, some very beautiful activations, and a lot of it happening in this kind of intuitive place, this place of the breath of the moment, this place of kind of width versus a place of height. And I like it. It's like the idea that some animals see, like 72 colors where we see 5, whatever it is. There's like a whole universe out there that you may not have perceived so far. And there's these openings, these activations into perceiving more. It's going to really please you. It's going to really inspire you. Who knows where it could take us, right? It's so cool. All right, sending you so much love. All the best in February. And don't forget to add a little color, a little light, a little play to your life this month. What can you do to make it more beautiful, more sacred, more joyful? You have so much power in the present moment. Bye.